Hi everyone, welcome back to Brain Dump. I'm Kai. Just want to preface, per usual, that I am not a mental health professional. I'm just a 20-year-old that's struggled with mental health pretty much my whole life, and I enjoy learning the psychology behind the things that we do. Today I'm going to be talking about how I hold myself back in a lot of ways in my life, and the thing that made me notice how much I was holding myself back is actually getting this new job and realizing that it's not that difficult for me to make friends. I would always say to myself that I'm super socially awkward and that making friends just isn't easy for me. I would say that, but I would never give myself the opportunity to make friends, even if I wanted to. So now that I'm given the opportunity to make friends and actually socialize with other people, it's coming so much easier than I thought it was going to. And that just kind of made me realize how there are some aspects of my life where I think so little of myself, and in turn, I hold myself back from truly going for it. When I came to that realization of, oh, making friends isn't that difficult, I just have to be myself, and I have to have the confidence to put myself out there. I I started to think of all the ways that I hold myself back in my life and all of the ways that I put limitations on myself. I don't want those limitations to affect how far I will go in my life. I'm always saying, literally all the time, how I want to make the most out of my life, and I can't do that if I'm overthinking about what someone's going to think of me. Like, no. Go up to them, start talking. If you don't vibe, you don't vibe. It's not the end of the world at all. Not everyone's gonna click, but when you find those people that you do click with, it feels so good and it makes it worth it, you know? Something that I see coincides with limitations that we set on ourselves is expectation. An example of this would be that I used to have the expectation of anyone that I would go up to would automatically not want to be friends with me because I thought so low of myself, and I thought that I'm not the type of person that people want to be friends with, that I'm not the type of person that people want to surround themselves with, you know? I put that limitation on myself, and therefore it altered my expectation of how my interactions with other people were going to go. Without that expectation holding me back, I probably would have been able to connect with so many more people. Because the expectation is what I was afraid of. That was the fear. But then you realize when you just go for shit, our expectations are usually not what happens. We put a lot of stuff in our minds that will never happen just because we're scared, and we do have those expectations about how things are going to go, but I think it's so fucking cool that we can be wrong. That may sound strange, but it's a nice surprise when you can prove yourself wrong in that sense. And I am the only one who can prove myself wrong by going for it. Something that held me back for a long time is what other people would say about me, and I let other people's opinions and comments dictate how I would live my life. It was so unfair to myself because I was only taking into consideration what other people wanted, and I never would ask myself what I wanted. I only actually became happy once I started asking myself what I wanted and found things within me that made me happy. A part of holding yourself back is fear, the fear of what will happen next, that anticipation. It's what we do with that fear that really matters. If I tell that fear to fuck off, I push myself into that success. But when I let that fear take over, I'm holding myself back from literally anything and everything. I saw something the other day that kind of put this into perspective, and it was basically just saying that we all have our own inner dialogue, and that voice that we have in our head, it guides us and sometimes points us in the right or the wrong direction. The inner voice that you hear is dictated by your life experiences, and it wasn't until I saw this entry on a psychology website that I realized that most of my self-doubt and self-hatred in my inner voice comes from my father. And for a long time, my inner voice was my father. I let him dictate every aspect of my life, and I'm trying to think. The last time I saw my father was before I graduated high school, and there were so many ways that he was still controlling my life at that point. Not even him himself, but from my own brain. The way I grew up caused me to have this voice, his voice, telling me how terrible I am. I'm sure I've talked about this, but that voice has gotten a lot easier to drown out, and that's not saying that it never comes back, but I don't feel as close to him in that sense, and that kind of, it separates him from my mind, and it's weird, because I can't hear his voice. I know what his yelling sounds like, that's something I won't ever be able to forget, but he's not able to speak to me in my head anymore because I don't remember his normal speaking voice at all. That's kind of sad. All of that is to say that what we go through in our lives will determine how much we take ourselves seriously. When I would constantly hold myself back, it was because I didn't take myself seriously at all. I thought I was a joke. I had to realize that, yes, I'm a person. I'm a person that matters, and I make decisions that will affect how my life goes, and that can be a really beautiful thing if you let it be. I didn't notice how detrimental that inner voice was to my own thought process until it was gone. Like, wow, some silence. For the first time. Not every thought that I have is my own, because if you really think about it, we have a lifetime of conditioning. I'm still young, but for the majority of my life, I was conditioned to think that I would never be good enough. That's the thought that I had to get out of my head in order to survive. Life is the way that you see it, and if you see yourself as this person that can't make friends, who can't save money, who can't do this, that, or the other thing, then you will be that person. If you see yourself as this person who makes friends super easily, a person that can save money and spend responsibly, a person that can do this, that, and the third, then you will be that person. It sounds so simple, it really does, but it's such a hard thing to wrap your mind around. Shifting from a fixed mindset into a growth mindset is the turning point in a lot of people's healing journey, because you're no longer living in a state of complacency. You're learning, you're appreciating, you're growing. I had a victim mentality for a really long time, and I always thought that people were out to get me. Any bad thing that would happen, I would automatically think it was because of me, the person I am. I would think that people were constantly thinking of me in ways to hurt me. I'm not that special, and shifting out of that mentality was hard, but after I did it, I saw all the shitty things that I was doing, and it really pushed me to change for the better, and seeing my behavior for what it was kind of made me open my eyes. Alright, so let's see what's going on in my life. Summer classes are over. Okay, my final grades for summer term. Spanish, I got a 94.8. Fuck yes. Psychology, I got a 96.7. Fuck yes. Survey of U.S. History, I got an 87.8. I was close to that A, but you know what? It's okay. I'm kind of bored, because fall semester doesn't start until the 12th of August. It's July 31st today, as I'm recording this. So a little under 2 weeks left, and I'm just bored, you know? Luckily, I have a job now that I can occupy my time with, but still, I am kind of bored. Okay, books of the week. I'm currently reading The Breakdown by B.A. Paris. I actually started this today. I'm only a few pages in, but it's about this woman who... Okay, this is my synopsis of this book, but also I haven't read the little... What is that thing called? The summary on the back? I haven't read that since I got the book at the library, so this is my best attempt at remembering. Okay, because I'm only like 5 pages in, and nothing has happened yet. This woman is driving home from somewhere, and it's raining, and she hits something, a person, question mark? I don't know, I haven't gotten that far, but on the back, this is what it was saying. That she hits something, and then she thinks it's a person, but then after it happens, she slowly starts to forget that night, and she's trying to figure out what happens, and as I'm saying this out loud, none of it is making sense, so if you want to read the book, you do it yourself. Okay. Anyway, I read In a Dark, Dark Wood by Ruth Ware. I'm gonna give that one 2 stars. Honestly, it wasn't my favorite. I read a few other books by Ruth Ware that I really enjoyed, but this one, it was so slow, and once the story actually picked up, it was dragging, you know, and it wasn't my favorite. And then I finished This Time Tomorrow by Emma Straub. I want to give that one 4 stars. It was very good. It was a little dragged out at the end, but I really enjoyed that one. Songs of the Week. It's No Fun by Grace Anger, Forever by Noah Kahan, Casual by Chappell Roan, Bros by Wolf Alice, White Knuckling by Olivia Barton, and Don't Mess With Me by Brody Dale. That's all I have for today. Thank you for listening. Remember that you're loved, you're valued, and you're appreciated, and fucking go for it. Don't hold yourself back from shit that you want to do. Okay, I love you. Goodbye.